The only one I ever agreed with that you can't race swap was James Bond.
So what you're saying is Ariel can't be black.
I hear the Negro spirituals.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever is...
Welcome back to the iNword podcast, where entertainment meets insight, where we journey through cinematic, television, and gaming worlds, exploring the latest releases, uncovering hidden gems, diving into deep discussions, and traversing topics out of this world. We've got it all, so join us and discover the true power of storytelling as we navigate the ever-evolving world of entertainment.
No one checked you on that, huh? That was nice. That's
Thank
pretty
you.
good.
Guess what? AI made this.
Oh, that was dumb. I don't like it.
AI made that?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
AI made that.
Huh.
So it's this thing called Chat GPT.
Uh-huh.
And basically you put in like a prompt. So I was like, hey, write a intro to a podcast about movies and TV shows. And it spits out, like it writes it for you. And then you can correct it. Be like, hey, can you change this? Can you add this? Can you do this? And did that.
Man, if only you knew any writers.
I know, right?
I know, that'd be weird.
it was because hang on, I did it for the bit. 'Cause I knew he would react funny. I know you'd be like, what? But yeah. So, but no. This is episode 2 of the iNword podcast after our monumental episode of 2022.
Monumental, he says.
But today we have a guest on the podcast today. He is a great friend of ours. He's an African American historian and writer and director with his first feature film coming out in May of this year. Phillip Dixon. Welcome to the podcast, buddy.
I made it. Yeah,
Yes,
I made
you
it. I
did.
appreciate you having me on.
Of course, man, Of course. Like I said, we had to do it right for our second episode. And
I'm
I know
ready
you
to get
come
into the
nitty gritty.
I am so
I'm
excited.
ready.
I've been waiting for this.
I have to. I enjoy strong, not arguments. Growth is a strong thing that has accompanied me to 2023. But I love a strong debate, and I'm ready because I've heard that there's a strong possibility that might occur.
Okay.
Well, with that being said, let's just get into it then. So, for those who don't know, so today we're going to kind of just talk about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I know it's been out for probably 3 months at this point in time, and we're a little late to the party, but we still want to talk about it and give our opinions of it. So, I don't know, do you want to kind of just go around and like give your initial thoughts first before you get into it, or
Sure.
Okay.
Should I go first?
Yep. You're the guest, Phil.
As
You go
the
first.
guest.
As the guest.
Time for me.
Initial thoughts.
Initial thoughts. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the best Marvel movie to come out since Endgame. I don't think, it adds into the legacy of Black Panther also, being that Black Panther has yet to miss. Any movie that Black Panther is in, has yet to miss. I saw the movie. It was fantastic. It's layered. We'll get into this later on. There's historical details that are in the movie that weren't necessary, but yet they went along and did it. If you have anything negative to say against this movie, then I will fight you with words, not physically, because once again, growth in 2023 has accompanied me.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one, fellas. Mike, your thoughts?
Black Panther Wakanda Forever was a awesome movie to me. I don't really have anything bad to say. I'm just sad that Ramunda died,
Well, dang!
My bad.
My bad.
So
My
for
bad.
That's my fault. I should have said we're going to spoilers. That's my fault.
My bad.
You're
I
good,
was
Mike.
there for the
Okay,
juggler.
my bad.
So if you haven't seen it by now, that's on you.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So
that's
you're
right.
good, Mike. You're just funny for me.
Yeah, you good.
Continue.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean it's an awesome movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey. My thoughts. So I saw it a second time with Phil this past weekend, and the first time I saw it, I didn't know exactly what to think. Like, of course I enjoyed it, but I just didn't know where it fell on my list. After seeing it a second time and kind of getting to just take in what the movie gives, it is definitely probably in my top 3 of Marvel movies. Definitely 100%. Just how deep they go into character arcs and character development, and just teaching us about grief and just the layers of it and how it can affect superheroes. Like, that's, to me, was phenomenal. And so I'm interested to see what Black Panther comes in the future and all that stuff. So that's kind of my thoughts. I thought it was an amazing film. and I definitely loved it. So
Okay, so for me, I know you're waiting with anticipation. I'm gonna wait for that part. For me, Black Panther, this one, Wakanda Forever, was definitely one of those movies that it helped set that tone ever since Civil War came out, and there was the idea of like it's not just so much so that you have a lot of people. I heard people who really like DC. They call it the cookie cutter kind of movies.
Yeah.
It does make you feel with the characters more. It makes you see that there are repercussions for every action they take. It's not like, Superman starts fighting someone and then all of a sudden it's like, well, the city got destroyed and we don't talk about it.
right.
This one actually says, no, this is the repercussions for everything that happened from anywhere from Civil War, Endgame, up to now. And honestly, the dynamics were great. I love, like, it seemed like everyone had their own spot in the film. It wasn't like anyone was overshadowed by anyone else. Everyone, and like even M'Baku, oh boy. And it's like the first Black Panther.
I can't hear his name without going ooh, ooh, every time. It is part of marketing.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like the first Black Panther when it came out, M'Baku seemed like this character's like, okay, do you want to like him? Is he kind of an antagonist and everything? But he really shined in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
No doubt.
I think low key, he's kind of the heart of the film. Like he's like the heartbeat of the film.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, so I was just going. In the first Black Panther, M'Baku made me mad, but then in the second movie, I love his character.
It's so empowering.
M'Baku, I could argue, had the biggest growth of any character in Black Panther's sub-universe.
Yes. Yeah.
Going from obviously the first Black Panther movie all the way to now, where at first he was this brute, this banging his, I am a brute, just like he was, if you're watching a 90s sitcom, he was the jock. That's what he was. That's what he was portrayed as. Right. All of a sudden, in Wakanda Forever, instead of being this jockish character, he is the wisdom that is bestowed upon the kingdom once everybody else being, had passed away and so on and so forth. He had to step up, and it was less about physical antagonization and more about, just the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding from which he took from, Chadwick Boseman's character, the original Black Panther, and all these other characters. He embodied it to the point where at the very end of the movie, he is becoming, or he put the gauntlet down to become king. Right?
Yeah.
He put the gauntlet down to become king, and that's fantastic because, and Nate, you can talk on this, of the advice that he gave, what's her name? One more time? Shuri.
Mm-hmm.
The advice that he gave Shuri was, the advice that put him into position towards the end of the movie to be in that spot.
Right.
And all that is just knowledge. All that's just wisdom. Yeah. And to go from, 5 movies ago? Yeah. To go from where he went to then, the character development is astounding. And because it was incredibly fluid.
Yeah.
They did real well, like also like showing you the actual development of M'Baku itself. Because like you said, like Jock kind of in the movies that way. But there were little I want to call them microcosms that they put in them. Because it started with like the whole idea of like, okay, he seems like this brute, just like really strong, and he's challenging just to be king or Black Panther at the time.
Right.
And then slowly, like I think one of the biggest ones was during Infinity War, where you saw him and T'Challa just like showing like their brothers in arms. He's like, I'll always be there to like back you up. Yep. Then you go to this movie, and then he tells Shuri, hey, I promised your brother I'd look after you. Like, there's nothing, I'm not going to stop that. That was a promise I made to him. And then the littlest thing they did, which was hilarious, was he was just like, what, you don't think we have books?
Right. Yeah. Right.
That was funny. That was funny.
But like, so yeah, in the first Black Panther, he was the brute antagonist force, right? At the beginning. Right. But he still had motive. Like, remember, the argument was, he was like, because you're letting this 16-year-old girl who defies tradition. Like, so his arguments were very much void in that movie, even though he was just a brute force. Right. He still had an intellectual backing behind his reasoning, which is kind of crazy. And this movie obviously just amplifies that, because like, so now in this movie, in my opinion, he's the heartbeat. He's the wisdom. He's the person who Shuri kind of always turns to, like, what should I do here?
I think that's incredibly smart of the movie and the writing itself, that he, as we just acknowledged, he was a brute, but he is the leader of his subsect for a reason.
Right.
He's not just, he's not dumb.
Yeah, at all.
No.
Like, but sure, at the beginning, you come off of that way.
Right.
But they, you know, as you just said, he had reasonings. He has his own reasonings,
Right,
but reasonings for why he had the thought process he did at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And to see that flow through the rest of the movies all the way into Wakanda Forever, it is just a testament to the smart writing, honestly, of that one particular character. Because once again, he is not dumb. He is their leader. Sure, some leaders can be dumb, but it has been showcased that that is not him.
Right.
His group is just more physically imposing than everybody else.
Right.
And so, you know, when you see characters and stuff in movies that are bigger and stronger, as an audience and a viewer, you inherently go, "Oh, they're dumb."
Right.
Like just because of how film and TV has been laid out.
Right.
So all of a sudden, for years and years and years, so all of a sudden, this kind of put it on its head pretty quickly. That whole entire idea of big strong means big dumb. Not really. It can also mean empathy and sympathy and all the things that go along with that as well. And you kind of saw that showcased in Wakanda Forever.
Got you. So, what do you think of the villain of the movie?
God. Boy.
You want to go first, Ronald? What do you think of Namor?
Tragic villain backstory. You can understand where he's coming from. And it's just honestly, I feel like he was a perfect example of like the aggression that one would have when you would actually like being put in that situation. It's just like, yeah, I'd probably react the same way. I come back home, my village is getting destroyed. I'm seeing the people that are my people as slaves.
Right.
And I have the power to do something about this.
Right.
Woo! I hear them Negro spirituals.
Yeah, Negro spirituals. That's wild. Wow, boy. That's funny. Negro spirituals. Oh, tell them on the mountain. That's crazy.
That's funny.
And so, as a character himself, he
Sorry, keep going. Keep going. You really broke me that one. I'm trying to be serious.
But as a villainous character, he's not. I don't even really see him as a villain. I see him, of course, as an antagonist.
And that's a great villain when you don't see him as a villain because their motives are very much make sense and true. Yeah,
because it's not so much you can call it justifiable. It's just like I see why you're doing it.
Right. Yeah.
Granted, aggressive, very, very aggressive. But when you are basically a demigod, it's just kind of like, well, if I hold the power to change something, and it's not me, and these people are looking up to me to do it, why not?
Right.
You know, it seems like the most legitimate thing to do in that situation for people. You know, she was just like, hey, maybe you shouldn't kill so many people. And he's just like, what?
Stop that. What are you talking about?
You're crazy.
You crazy.
He should get his own movie.
He can't.
I know he can't, but he should
not right now because of the whole licensing and where Universal owns him and the Hulk, so he can't. Have
See,
a movie yet.
You said not necessarily justifiable. I say, in my opinion, he is one of the best justified villains that I've seen in a long time. Like a very, very, very long time. Because he comes from a culture, a history of colonization. And if Wakanda would have reacted in the nation of Wakanda would have reacted in the exact same way as he and his people reacted, I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, turns out slavery pretty bad. And I'm not gonna be over here going, I don't like the way you reacted to that. You know what I mean? And they just happen to react differently, but with them reacting differently, he's still justified in all the means of which he went through till the very end. It is, you know, imagine all of a sudden you're like, oh, I mean, you're born and you're in the ocean. All of a sudden you come out like, my mother's sick, bury them, my people. All of a sudden they like, all of a sudden you a devil. It's like, what I do? I didn't do nothing. I just popped up the water, flying, but I just popped out the water. all of a sudden, just because of the ramifications of, the colonization of South Africa and stuff like that, and this kind of adds into, I thought they did that part incredibly well, in my opinion, just because it's just one of those instances where you have two people whose histories are so aligned, but they can and will react differently. Right. And that's the way it is. And one person might think their way's better than the other, but they're still aiming for somewhat of a similar result, because Wakanda's not. They're holding on to their vibranium. You know what I mean? Like they're holding on to everything,
and that's why it threw them off so much, because they're just like, wait a minute, there's more people out there that have vibranium other than us. Excuse me, hello?
Yes, I mean they are okay with the dialogue with, the rest of the world, but we better than you. I mean, we're gonna go about it in peaceful ways, but we're better than you. Yeah. The what is there? The
Telokans?
Yes.
Telokans?
We're better than you, and we're gonna show you that we better than you. It just in a violent way. Right. And it's like, sure, in a violent way, but the reason they're underground and they're under the ocean and things like that for a reason is because niggas was killing people. It's slavery. It's not good. It's not good. So, I really enjoyed that aspect.
He said niggas was killing people.
Well, I mean, and they tried to, they tried to hint. She's like, okay, we're not gonna mess with you. Don't mess with us. What's that machine you got there? What you doing? You're a little close. You're encroaching.
Yeah. Listen. Territory. You know what I mean? Like, listen, if you don't want to, there weren't borders, there weren't all the kind of stuff until colonization happened. So all of a sudden, you colonize them. All of a sudden, they're like, shoot, okay, sound good to us. You a little too close. Back up. We gonna send like 4 people at you, destroy everybody. but that's all it is.
You know that's being generous.
Yes, it was wild though. It was wild. It was a good movie.
Michael Paul, you got anything? With Namor, Telokans, villains,
wings on feet,
breathing through your skin.
I mean, Namor. He was doing what he wanted, to protect his people. His
he
really didn't get violent until
he was provoked.
He was provoked when Ramonda sent what's her name?
Nakia.
When he sent Nakia, and she shot one of his people, that's when he was like, you see, I was being peaceful. I was talking to Shuri. We was cool. We was vibing.
We was figuring it out.
And then when he seen that, he's like, all right, now I'm going to come for you, Ramunda.
and that's a great point, because like I said, the movie is about grief, right? That's one of the main themes in it. And so me and Phil kind of talked about this after the movie, but so in Black Panther 1, and then in parts of Black Panther 2, Ramunda is always seen as very calm, cool, collected, right? No matter what. Even in this movie, when Namor attacks them and he throws a spear at the glass, does she move? Nope. She's just there and she's like, okay. But why is she like that at that point in time? Because at that point, she knows Shuri's okay.
Yeah.
Right? But when Shuri is taken, and at that point in her story, she's lost her husband. She just lost her son a year ago. And now her only daughter has been taken. She doesn't know where the hell it's been taken or what, or, what's been done to her. So at that point, she's just acting as a mom, but also out of grief. Because as we know, grief doesn't just leave you. Like, it's always there. It's always there, right? Mm-hmm. So when that happens, now she's acting erratic. She's acting illogical. So that, again, is what caused her grief, put in effect Namor's actions. Because again, Shuri and Namor, they were figuring it out. Like, they were discussing it, because Namor was like, hey, you know what? This is no longer about Riri. This is about what's coming. Like, because again, he's a guy. He's been alive for probably centuries.
Too long.
So he has seen history. He's seen history repeat itself over and over. Slavery. He's seen it. So he knows what's going to happen, because Wakanda has a resource that the world wants. Right. So he sees the chess pieces moving, and so he sets into motion. He's like, you know what? How about me and you team up, because I know they're gonna come for you. This is gonna happen.
That's and I was talking to somebody recently about the storyline of the agent right? The agent who,
The white guy,
the white
colonizer.
white man.
colonizer.
No, but I was talking though, and somebody, it's my cousin, and he was telling me he didn't like that subplot because it didn't go anywhere.
But you need
And
sorry,
I know,
My fault.
because I was upset because I'm like, then you don't understand, right? So his whole subplot is they're trying to get the resources from these countries. It is a repeating of history.
right?
So he was like, but at the very beginning, when they brought the French troops back in, and they kind of showcased that's all you needed. That I'm like, no, because by the time you got to the end of the movie, you would have forgotten about that.
Right,
Yeah.
100%,
So you needed
100%.
constant reminders
Yeah.
to show that they are persistent in that fact of getting a natural resource,
Right.
because that's why all this nonsense happened in the first place. You know, how Michael B. Jordan in the last Black Panther talking about my ancestors jumped off the ships and all kind of stuff.
right,
You're not gonna help us. Why? Natural resources of humans in that aspect of the natural resource,
Right.
but also you had the natural resources of El Dorado and all kind of stuff going in South America, things like that. And so like that plot line was incredibly important. And so the fact that some people don't understand that means they don't understand. That's what I'm talking about, the history of it too, because there's a reason why they chose France to be the ones that's showcased at the very beginning, right?
Teacher.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. France was it $400 billion make a year off of Africa, like currently in 2022, 2023, and so like there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? And so like France and all these other cultures, it's like we could have just chose anybody, but no, we chose these people specifically, and then we went into the United States, essentially saying that the United States wants vibranium because in the United States, sure, they're more of a modern country in terms of existence, but they're not different,
Right? No.
right? If you're a world power, you are a world power for a reason, and you got to that point through certain means. And that is getting resources. Right. And this movie did a really good job of putting emphasis on that. And to go back real quick to the point you're talking about with the cool, calm, collected of the mom, right? In her nature. Even when she was approaching death and saving, I'm going to call her MIT. And saving MIT.
Ironheart.
I'm gonna call her. Oh, she got an Iron Man suit. MIT. So she was even cool, calm, and collected, saving her in regards to her own life, right? When she like stopped her from drowning or pulled her up from drowning and tried to swim to the top, and all of that is because her children were safe. So in that moment, this is how I took it. Right. In that moment, she could, consciously, subconsciously, whatever, engage with the fact that the legacy continues. Right. And she at least knows that, because if you're running a kingdom, it's all about legacy and passing along of, culture, passing along of family and name and whatever, many things. And so I took that as like a very powerful thing in that aspect, specifically towards her and her engagement with the grief and things like that.
Okay, deep. Okay. Any flaws in the movie?
Oh, you saw this coming. The ending solved nothing.
What part of the ending solved nothing?
Okay, so this whole thing would start off with El Kukulkan and Shiri.
Say it one more time. I can't hear you.
El Kukulkan.
Okay, keep going.
Trying to basically have this battle up. It was like, kill Riri, save her. Kill Riri, save her. Right.
Right.
So, at one point, he thought he had killed her. Right.
Right.
And he's just like, which also, sidebar, one of the most badass things I've ever seen someone do, because he killed the queen.
Right.
Man looks directly at Shiri and goes, "You're the queen now. Do something about it," and just leaves.
Yeah.
That was cold. That was cold blooded.
That was tight. I mean, he's a good villain. He had many moments. Many moments.
That was cold. All right. But anyway, so the thing was, like, with all the tension rising action, they had the fight on that giant ship that they made to, counteract everyone that was coming. I always forget their name.
Pelicans?
I always try to say it wrong. When they're trying to fight the Telecans, right? So they had on ship, they're all fighting.
I thought you said pelicans.
Pelicans?
I was like, New Orleans? Okay, I got you.
But so you have Shiri and Namor just like, fighting off to the side, and it's just like, oh man, one of them's got to win. It's going to be this thing. And then they were just like, you know what? I feel you. You know what? I feel you too. I'm about to die. I feel you. And so they don't kill each other, right? They go back and there's like, hey, we've joined forces now. We're done fighting each other. Everyone stop, right? And then you had this whole thing of like this uplifting feeling like, okay, everything's good. Everything's fine. You know, they can rely on each other now. I'm just like, bro, did we forget this was caused by outside sources and not just them? This is a perfect example of minorities fighting each other because of someone higher than them.
Right. Right.
No, because it's the whole movie. The whole movie is predicated on T'Challa going to the World Senate and be like, "Hey, we will open we will give you guys vibranium and help you guys with our resources." That's how this whole thing started, and because T'Challa did it, not outside sources, and so because of him, thus created the domino effect of them Riri MIT building that thing to find vibranium, which then they then find, and then Namor's like, "Hey, they have this machine now because your son did this, so you got to fix it."
Also, let's just say if the very beginning of the movie, you felt the movie went to a full 360, right? Isn't that just life? I mean, honestly, you start off somewhere and you're hard-headed, and then certain events and situations happen. All of a sudden, you start fighting. You ever had a friend that you were friends? But you ever had a friend? No, but you ever heard of situations? There's situations where people are friends. And then all of a sudden, they argue and they have disagreements and things like that. But at the very end of the day, they're just friends again.
Yep.
It happens all the time.
Is that what that was?
But it was. We didn't know you existed. Then there was, we want to come together. But then we have disagreements on that, and then we fight about said disagreements, and then at the very end, we actually do come together, and that's gonna predicate the next couple movies where they do go into the future.
Right.
And I don't think that is a negative. I personally don't think that's a negative aspect to take from this movie. If you do, by all means, do. But I think that is a depiction, or that can be a depiction of just like reality that's just different because we're so used to movies being linear. And if a movie is not linear, then it is outside of the norm, and it's just a different way of thinking about it.
My whole thing was like, I wouldn't have minded that if they would have just addressed it one more time, like just show that there was something else going on. Because the only thing they did was show, I always want to call them the Marvel Suicide Squad. The one because the girl from Seinfeld getting everyone together.
Oh,
from V?
Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
Got you.
Yeah.
Because like you had that to show, okay, there are like this ragtime team that like someone is going to invade Wakanda in order to get these resources.
Right.
So that's kind of that closure of showing that like, okay, no, there's still something going on the outside. At the same time, though, I don't know why I just felt like with that whole cheery kind of like, okay, we get along now. That's fine. That is okay.
Right.
To me, it just felt like it was a higher point than it should have been. And it should have been more along the lines of, because remember, at the end, Namor is just kind of like, okay, well, yeah, we're now in alliance with Wakanda.
When he's talking to a general?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, you already know. So it's just like, we're in an alliance with Wakanda. Everything's fine. And the general's like, excuse me? You're going soft. He's like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. I thought we were going to fight more.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's fine. They'll need us.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like,
That's a different understanding than it was before, though.
That's a smart leader, though.
Yeah, that's a smart leader, but also that is not the point that was happening at the very beginning of the movie, though. Of him going, they'll need us. That whole dynamic is different. At the very beginning, it wasn't, you'll need us. It is just, let's just work together.
So, whenever Wakanda needs some help, they have some allies they can call. What do they call again?
Talokin.
Talokins. Okay.
But like for sure, in those two, working together and then they'll need us are two different mental states completely that are different, and that obviously one of let's just work together to defeat the people up top, and the motive of kind of showcasing that, because that might have been his motive at the very beginning, but then at the very end we're seeing him actively showcase that motive to others. That's not just him, and the others now have some kind of understanding, and also have a outside of three of them, whatever it was for the car scene, they're others have had interactions with Wakandans, so he has to approach the whole entire situation differently. So that's what I took from that beginning to the end scenario of like the coming together, the Martin Luther King. The embrace. That's what I took from it personally.
I got you. And actually, I understand where you're coming from more now, because obviously when we discussed it 3 months ago, it was like 5 minutes after the movie had ended, and so we were obviously trying to go through it quick. But now I do understand more where you're coming from now. Like, I get that. I understand that.
I don't. I'm joking.
I get your perspective. I get that more of that. For sure.
Because I don't like I said, I don't mind it, but it's just like, okay.
No, it just irked you. That little moment just kind of irked you. You're like, well,
yeah. And also, like, I'm still kind of in the air about the fact of like, does he know that Riri isn't dead, or like?
Again, I don't think so. In that case, because of how their relationship evolved over the movie, I think at the end of the movie he doesn't care because Wakanda has their back now. So if let's say Riri, again, I don't think Riri's gonna make another machine now. She might. I don't think she will though.
But she didn't even expect that one to get sold. She was like, "Wait, they use that?"
Right, exactly. So I don't think she'll make another one. But if she did, I think Namor would be like, "Hey, Wakanda, we need your back. Like, pull up on the set. Like, we need you.
Pull up on the set." This guy, wow.
That's a good one.
But yeah, so yeah, yeah.
I mean, Riri, MIT, was, I will say, she's my least favorite character, and we talked about this. Mm-hmm. I think it's really hard to make a movie involving a black, like a culturally black American that doesn't seem too over the top or not enough, whatever that means. And I think it felt unauthentic to me sometimes. And I also, another issue I had with her was, you remember in Iron Man 1 when Tony Stark was making his suit and we saw like the issues that he had with the suit, you know what I mean? Just like, the hand, he's shooting the beams out and it's like a controller or whatever it is, right? We saw it was, what was that? That scene was 3 minutes maybe.
Right.
We should have got that from her. Why is she smarter than Tony Stark?
In the comics, yes.
Huh? But in
the comics, yes.
Then show us. Then tell us that.
We discussed this. I think because her show's coming out, so I think that the show is going to show that her whole backstory with her dad, her whole I think it's going to show that,
and so, that goes into a bigger issue.
Right.
I don't got Disney Plus. I don't got Disney Plus. I have no way of watching these shows.
Right.
Also, I don't got time to watch all these shows and the movies. So if she is
right,
and all of a sudden, they should understand that everybody isn't in a situation to be able to take in all the content. So they should have just been like literally a line of Tony Stark got nothing on me.
Right.
Literally something that simple.
Right.
And it would have linked the threads to me of the intellect that she has.
Right.
Because I did have a thought of, Tony Hawk. Great video game. But Tony Stark did come before her. So, and no one came before Tony Stark when it came to like the robot suits and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So she has like a predecessor to kind of, understand and be able to look out after. She doesn't have to know him, but kind of just like she knows it exists and knows like the capability or something like that.
Right.
So I do understand that's probably that is a possibility that she could have been strongly influenced by him and kind of just use him as like a blueprint essentially to make the suit. Mm-hmm. But once again, that's, and I think there's more. I think there's ways that you can make her more human.
Okay.
And like you can make her more relatable in some ways. Right. And they tried that. Man, you know what I mean? Like she did a lot of like those mannerisms.
Right.
Is this really what y'all do up here? You know what I mean? I'm just like, that didn't relate to me.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm supposed to be. I'm the ideal demographic for you.
Right.
I'm like a black person in America.
Right.
You like me. Not in my tea, but you like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but for some reason, it just didn't like hit for me.
Right.
But in my opinion, that was such a small, minute thing. Right. That it didn't take away from the film itself.
Right. And so my question was, and I think obviously every character is not going to resonate with every individual, right? And so, but do you think? because like you said, one line may have worked. Like Tony Stark has nothing on me, right? That works for you, but then to some other one, oh, she's cocky. She's not like she's overacting.
What she say about Tony Stark?
So that's one thing. The second thing is, do you think there was time in this film, like a different, like the original Black Panther movie, you probably could have done more with her, like, but with this movie and its themes, do you think there was room for more for like her backstory? Do you think there's more?
I don't think you need to make whole scenes of flashbacks and things to show her her origin story.
Right, it's good, right.
But 2 sentences can do a lot.
I believe that.
And what was the movie, like 2.5 hours?
Yeah, 2:45.
So
2:45, 3 hours.
So it's all of a sudden to be 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like we already here. You know what I mean? I already paid my money. I'm gonna be here anyways. So 2 lines don't mean nothing. But also but that is, I do understand that that's me projecting though.
Well, gotcha, right,
to a degree.
Right.
To a degree, that's me projecting. Like I would have done this or I would have done that.
Right.
They didn't. Right. So, but like that. But I think there is some ways that I would have like wished that I could have engaged with her.
Right.
Pre just knowing she's smart.
Right. But also can you name me all of you? Think about it. Can you name me? So in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so 28 movies and 8 TV shows, you haven't seen them. But can you give me a good, besides Black Panther, can you give me a good cameo in a movie? So basically a character who was introduced in another person's movie that like stuck out. That was like, oh, I kind of messed with this person. This character's pretty dope.
Howard Duck.
Howard Duck. That's funny. That's funny. Howard Duck. And he was never seen again.
Oh man,
that's funny.
That's funny. But yeah, because obviously Black Panther, I think he's like the one that sticks out the most because he was technically, I mean, he wasn't a cameo, but he wasn't the main character in Civil War, right? But his story was very much like a hit, he was a monkey wrench.
Was Bucky a cameo? Because Bucky was a cameo.
But that's the thing. I feel like Bucky is just like
he wasn't the main character. Bucky was in the original Captain America. He was a cameo. And you liked Bucky because of his interactions with Captain America.
Right. So here, I'm sorry. But I don't see Bucky as a cameo because he's part of Captain America's story. Black Panther's not part of Captain America's story. So in Captain America Civil War, when he shows up and Black Panther's like, when you first meet him, he's the son of a king, and then stuff pops off, and then he's just on a mission, and so he's the obstacle between Captain and Bucky, right? Because he's trying to kill Bucky, and he was like, "Nah, bro,
I didn't kill your father. I don't care."
Best line ever, bro. When he said, "I lost it," I don't care. Like, I was like, oh, yo, like this dude is wild. Okay, so like his level of like his cameo and his introduction was top notch. So like, I think it's hard to match that. To your point of like Black Panther never fails, but it's hard to match that.
I don't think they were trying to match it though, because I think it's turning into this whole idea of because it's Phase 4 now, right?
5.
God,
going
into
Ant-Man Phase 5.
Okay, so they're doing this.
So much content, so little time.
They're starting to do this thing now because I mean the studio's already mentioned they're trying to take a new approach on things, right? And I think maybe what they're trying to experiment with now is we want to introduce a character in the movie that it may not be a cameo, but we want you to be interested in them.
Right.
So then we can throw that show at you and see if you want to follow them more.
Right, correct.
I mean, because the whole thing about WandaVision, you watched Infinity War, you're like, Vision's gone. All of a sudden, hey, here's WandaVision. When's this taking place? How's Vision back? What's going on?
Yeah, do we want to get into, is that a good or bad business practice? Of what you're talking about,
content.
But
quantity over quality.
Yeah, and no one's gonna say Samuel Jackson's a better actor than Denzel. You know what I mean? Like, you put out a lot of stuff. You put out 6 on the plane.
So you saying that?
Well, hang on, it's too much.
Okay, go ahead.
You saying that WandaVision should have came out before?
Well, no, it's a practice that's happening now, where it's just like instead of us having cameos, it's just the idea of we're going to introduce this aspect, this idea, and we want you to be interested to end up going to watch it. If anything, what I kind of see it as, if I had to generalize it, it's like you're taking a cinematic universe, right? But you're making it you're using that comic book style of there are alternatives to the main storyline, and now you can follow this alternative line. And I mean, think about it, we're getting into the multiverse. That's a huge thing that's like going to happen with that. It's just like, oh yeah, I've been following this one. There's others, and we want to see where you go with this.
That is, I just don't like that. I mean, I wish I could be more, articulate. Or actually, I'll try.
That's what you got.
I'll try.
You're on a podcast.
I'll try. You're right. Shoot.
The most
I was on my couch for a second. It's comfortable. Okay,
That's right.
I don't like that because that is anticipating that the consumer has the means to be able to keep up. And a lot of people in life work, eat, sleep. Work, eat, sleep, right? That it's like kind of this the system that we all engage with.
Right.
And I think you at this point are starting to get greedy with content. And that tends to take away some of the
quality control.
The quality, right? It takes away the quality of what we had, right? So like, we are all phase 1, 2, like we all like all the phases, but we became established in phase 1 and phase 2, right?
Yeah.
And that is a movie every year, 6 months.
Probably. So phase 1 was definitely a movie a year, like because it was like gaps, and then phase 2 was like 2 movies a year, and then phase 3 was 3.
Yeah, the 3, and then all of a sudden you're adding TV shows in, and TV shows are only taking longer, and all of a sudden you guys subscribe to Disney Plus, and it for me personally, it's too much because like I watched the new Doctor Strange movie, right? Saw it in theaters, didn't understand some of it because I didn't see WandaVision, and so I had to have my cousin next to me go, hey, WandaVision, this is why this is happening. Okay, you good? Keep going.
Well, he has a point. I mean, what if the huge thing about the other Doctor Strange was he was introduced in that animated series,
Right?
And that's why everyone was so anticipating on the movie, because when they saw him at the end of the trailer, it's like, oh shoot, they're making the anime into the real thing. So it's just like, all right, I want to see it now.
And now see, in Riri has been introduced into this. Has been introduced now through Wakanda Forever. So all of a sudden, it's like it's like a commercial or a trailer to watch the new show.
Right.
And I personally don't have the time for that. But also, the good thing about phase 1, the good thing about pre-Endgame was that I could get emotionally invested into each and every character. Right?
Right.
Sure, some movies weren't as good, but it felt like the quality was there. I don't care about She-Hulk. and like
That's dangerous.
once again, remember, I don't have Disney Plus.
Right.
But I also don't feel encaptured to be able to go on my way to get Disney Plus. Right?
Yeah.
If they use characters, if the movies from the characters made me feel that way, I would definitely do it. But I think they're also just like leaning on a generation right now of kids who are going to be like, parent, can you give me this?
Right.
So I can watch this, so we can watch you know what I mean?
Right.
They're making that Disney money.
Yeah. Me and my life right now, I just don't have that. So like, I feel excluded.
I got you.
Essentially what it feels like.
Yeah.
But also again, I just don't have time for it.
The FOMO is real.
Not really, because I really don't want to watch Loki.
Loki's really
Whoa,
good.
you don't watch Loki?
Hang on. Because so you watch Rick and Morty?
No.
Okay. Now you can't.
But purposely. But no.
Right.
Okay.
Ironically.
But Loki's actually like really good. Like it's like the first episode was like people were crying because like it's deep. Yeah.
I heard.
It's really good.
I know it is. Like, look, I know WandaVision, Loki are really good. I heard She-Hulk hit and miss, and is there any of the shows?
Falcon Winter Soldier was good.
I heard Falcon Winter Soldier was hit or miss. I heard there were just hit or miss ones or really good ones, but I have not felt and captured enough to watch any of them because I also like going to the movie process.
Right. The theater experience is like, and that's to your point. What I do agree with is like I do think Marvel should deal it back a little bit because of the quantity over quality situation. Because I love going to the theater, especially for like that experience of being in a crowd. Like when I tell you, if I could go back, if I could get my right nut to go back and watch Endgame for the first time, I would.
Interesting wording.
I don't care. I would. My right nut just to give, because that experience. When I tell you, it was like you can't encapsulate that feeling of how it feels to be
Yeah,
like in a group of fans and
not
like
wrong.
you're all just yelling, you're all just like, let's go. Like when Cat picks up the Mjolnir for the first time, that crowd, it's not like a football game, like a pro football game when and the crowd erupts.
Yeah.
It felt like that.
I almost cried when I saw Tom Holland again.
Yeah. When Tom Holland, spoiler alert, when Tom Holland dies in Infinity War, like the whole crowd was just like bawling.
Oh,
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Were shook.
Shook.
Like
It was
and, like,
improv. That whole part was improv by him too.
Was it really?
Yes.
I know that.
They didn't know that they was gonna do that. He started walking like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. And they was like, excuse me?
Yeah, that was sad.
It's the movie going experience is what makes, to me, is what makes superhero movies stand out from others.
Yes.
Midnight premieres for superhero movies are like no other. They're not gonna people dressing up, cosplaying, do the whole thing.
Right.
All of a sudden you're in this moment where it's 100+ people. All of a sudden you're all having similar emotions towards movies because the movies had quality and were good.
Right.
So it was kind of, you understood that everybody's gonna feel this way at this scene, everybody's gonna feel this way at that scene,
You just
continuing
know.
forward.
Yeah.
You just knew because the quality was there.
Yeah.
The last time I felt that was probably the newest No Way Home.
Okay.
With all the 3 Spider-Mans popping up.
Yeah.
That's probably the most recent time I felt that.
Yeah.
But you had to do a cameo of 3 different movies to get that.
Right.
It like you had, in professional wrestling they call it cheap pop, right? You had to, you had to. I mean, but it was a good moment.
Yeah.
But you had to go all the way there to get that moment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think there's a big chance. There's a very huge chance that Avengers: Secret Wars could be that next big moment.
It has to be because I'm not feeling multiverse like excited for that one as
Right. So yeah, because okay, I think Phase 4 has had an issue because what it is people don't know where we're going, right? So Phase 1 of Marvel was very much linear. It was very much like, hey, we got Iron Man, cool, that was well, that did well.
Right.
Oh, here's Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. Wait, Tony Stark pops up at the end of it. Wait, no, are they doing that? Are they trying it? And then Captain America comes out. Wait, what? He comes up and he wakes up from the ice in present day.
Right.
Hold up now, Thor. Okay. Oh, they're actually doing it. They're doing the damn thing, right? So you know where they were going from Hulk on. You knew where they were going,
right.
and so on and so forth, and to through Endgame. Now it's a reset, right? So it's an issue of like, and it's a multiverse. So you're like, where are we going with it, with this? And so people are kind of confused and aren't being patient enough to be like, you know what? Let's just see where it goes. Because I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to open up answer a lot of questions. I think that's going to be a big question of like answering a lot. Like, for example, do you guys remember Shang-Chi in or the post-credit scene for Shang-Chi? You remember that post-credit scene? Probably not. It was a scene where they're sitting there with Wong and they look at like the 10 rings and it's like there's a beacon being called out and like from where, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Right. But people forget about that.
Right.
But I guarantee you, I have a feeling Ant-Man is going to answer a lot of those questions. A lot of those things are going to be kind of answered, and then moving forward, it's going to be more linear. I feel like from that on, because
I hope so, because I really, really hope so, because that is the reason everybody stayed behind to watch the post credits, right?
Right.
It is what's going to happen next. What's happening next? What's
Right.
happening next? But also along with that, the characters were more recognizable.
Right. Well, so and that's why I'm saying I think Secret Wars is going to be bigger than people think. Because again, it's multiverse. I think you're going to get.
In your opinion, what can you do though?
I'm about to tell you.
Give me Deadpool.
No, hang on, I'm about to tell you. So Secret Wars in the comics is about it's this multiversal war because of Kang. So Kang Dynasty happens. He's going to wreck shop just like Thanos did in Infinity War. He's going to wreck shop. Like he's going to take out people left and right. I guarantee it. And what's going to happen is Secret Wars is going to happen, and you're going to bring back multiverse characters from different places, and then you're going to have a Hugh Jackman Wolverine. You're going to have a Tobey Maguire and Andrew back. You're going to have a Ben Affleck Daredevil. You're going to have these other Fantastic Four. You may get a Human Torch, a Chris Evans Human Torch. You may get these
Chris Evans Human Torch.
Bro,
Oh my god.
because they own Fox now. So I guarantee you, bro. I'm telling you. So obviously it could plummet. It could be horrible. But
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. With the right directors, hang on, especially if the Russos come back, I promise you, bro. This movie.
What are the odds of that happening though?
Pretty high. Because of this, okay. Every movie they've made inside Marvel hits. Civil War, $1 billion. Endgame, $1 billion. Infinity War, $1 billion. Right. Every movie they made outside of Marvel,
Which is what?
Right.
Community.
Hang on, right? You don't know.
Wait,
Well,
TV show?
Yeah.
they did Community first before that. So yeah. But yeah.
Well, it wasn't Community season 1 through 3.
I love Community.
Back
No.
in though.
And so, but no. So every movie that they've done outside of the MCU have been okay. To the public, they've been okay. They haven't been
Sorry,
great.
I'm still kind of stuck on Community and how you go from that till Endgame.
Well, fun fact.
That kind of shook me up a little bit. I'm gonna lie to you.
So because the producer of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige,
Right.
He can spot talent a mile away. Like he's great at finding talent. So he even said that he even said that it was the episode. I think it was one of the paintball episodes. But when he saw
I
it,
remember that episode.
when he saw it, he was like, "These guys can direct a Marvel movie for sure." And that's what got him thinking about them.
From the paintball episode?
Yeah.
It was one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of them. Yeah,
I remember that episode.
yeah. Well, there's like 3 of them. But
Were there?
yeah, there's
Okay. I
3 of them.
remember the first one.
Yeah.
That's
But
probably the
anyway,
one they did.
but
Really?
they but that's what got hit, like that got him in the room for the jobs, stuff like
Right.
that. So, but no, I think Secret Wars could definitely be one of those movies that will never happen again, and you'll never experience. Like I think you asked me the other day, when should they end? After Secret Wars, or reset and just like do one-offs, like
cleanse the
it out.
palate.
Because after that, you can't go bigger. Like you can't, like the next thing is Galactus, but again, it's not like a multiverse war. It's not.
So you think that at this moment,
Mhm.
it's a go big or go home mentality for that one specific movie?
Yes.
You think like this is like a? Do you think it's actually the case, or are you just being like pessimistic or optimistic?
No, I think because again, I've heard, I work for a media outlet, so I've heard things, I've heard and seen things about
Right.
certain stuff
Right.
that's in the works. I think Kevin Feige is going to throw everything he's got at that movie because again, it's kind of it's preparation meets. What's the quote? I can't remember.
I don't
But
I'm not a quote guy.
but I think, like I said, it's because again, everything the stars have aligned.
Right.
Where they own Fox, they own the X-Men now, they own Fantastic Four, they own and them and Spider-Man have a good relationship right now. Like so, them and Sony have a good relationship. So I feel like he's going to use all those tools, all those Infinity Stones, for lack of a better word, to make this thing work
We
and
about
to
to
bring
get-
everybody in.
We about to get Venom.
You're gonna get Venom. You're gonna
About to
get,
get
hang on. You will have a black suit Tom Holland in Secret Wars. You're gonna have that. You're gonna have.
Dang, is that like? Is it like Gone with the Wind? How long is the movie gonna be?
that movie. I mean, don't forget
6
Endgame.
hours? Oh my god!
Don't forget Endgame was 3.5 hours,
Felt like 2 minutes.
right?
Yeah.
So
That movie
again,
went past so
like,
quick.
if you get the right directors and you get the right story,
Right.
I think they can definitely do, a 3.5 hour movie, 4 hours of intermission. Do it. Hang on, because you know why? The fans will watch it. They will do it.
Yeah, you will also get back fans that may have fallen off because of the internals. So like you may have getting back fans from the original X-Men's,
Right.
Because like No Way Home, they did nothing with Xavier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's there for 4 seconds. And,
They used him to get certain people back into the movie,
right.
right? Who were watching it 20 years ago, whatever, 15 years ago,
Right.
and all of a sudden did nothing.
Right.
And I'm afraid if they do that, what you just mentioned towards this next Avengers movie,
Right.
then they are gonna do that as well. You know what I mean? Just Xavier it up and you know what I mean? Which was quite upsetting. It was quite upsetting. As a guy who's an X-Men guy, that hurt.
Yeah,
That hurt
kinda-
bad.
Yeah. I was not a fan of any of the Illuminati stuff in that movie. Because again, I thought they did it the wrong way. Like I felt those characters should have had more to do, and then also like have send them out on their shield, like send them out like
Right.
not in 5 seconds. Like I get it, you're trying to nerf them to OP WandaVision. To OP Scarlet Witch. I get it, but like you could have like done it. It didn't serve the story, in my opinion. It could have been better.
Right.
that sense.
For sure.
Well, Mike, you got anything to say, Mike?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did y'all like the beginning of Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
You mean the tribute stuff?
Yes. Did it make you want to cry or?
It's supposed to be a celebration.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the sound editing of like the silence with the wind, and
Yes, that was good.
I enjoyed it a lot because it wasn't over the top too much, and it just played into the fact that we all know what happened, right? We don't need to get into more. So they just kind of just like started off with it, used it, continued on, and then the story ensued. And I really appreciated the fact that it wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was used as like a plot point.
Yeah,
it was part of the plot, obviously, but it didn't seem like a fixture.
It was a good lay to rest kind of like ode, because it was just like, yes, this is where it stops.
I can't say this. I was a little frustrated with the opening of that movie. We've discussed it, but I want to be in my feels. Okay, so no, I wanted to weep. I wanted to cry. Chadwick was my dude. Okay, Black Panther was my favorite hero. So when he passed away, that really hurt. And so I wanted that to feel that in the movie. And so, for example, I'm a Fast and Furious guy. Love it. Right. When Paul Walker passed away, that one hurt. Fast and Furious 7. There's a whole meme about it where it's like, and it says Titanic is where girls cried. Fast and Furious 7 is where men cried, because like the way they did it in that movie. I'm getting to it right now. The way they did in that movie, like I wept. I saw it 3 times in theaters. I cried each time. I cried. I to this day I still cry every day. Like
I also cried during Titanic, so like that hurt.
no, I cried too. I'm just saying.
Rose, come on.
There was room for you on that piano.
They could have took turns.
I was like, come on, that hurt.
But no,
I'm gonna get rid of that meme.
I'm saying to say both of those movies dealt with the same issue of like losing an actor, you know, that's famous for that role,
right?
And Fast and Furious, it was during filming. Like he died, like he had film scenes and then he died. So like it was a little bit not easier, but it was easier on the process for almost Black Panther than it was for Fast and Furious 7, because he died like midway through. So that's why I was like, oh, they're gonna, you know, I'm gonna be balling when this movie starts. Right. And so it was. Hang on, to your point though, it was very like I love the no music, the just the wind blow beginning and end. I love that. But I just felt, and I get what they were going for with like the celebration aspect of like, you know, because this is the culture of African culture. Right. So I didn't mind that. I just wish, like I said, I would have felt it more.
Although,
just me.
I do feel like they did a good job at that though, because taking Sherry's perspective of it, of how like she was trying to hold in that grief and still keep going.
Right.
But then everyone were kind of saying like, hey, you know, we're celebrating his life. You know, we know that this may be the end of the chapter, but it's a new beginning. Right. It's a good way to show a dynamic of how people in the theater felt, because you would have the people that's like, yeah, he did a lot of good movies. He's a great actor. He's a great guy. You know what? Yeah, he did good. This is a good memorabilia for him. And then other people in the theater like, my boy's gone. Why? Oh, my boy's gone. Yeah. And so seeing in the beginning, it was the whole celebration, and then at the end, Sherry burning the ceremonial robe at the end. That was the thing. That was what a lot of people who weren't in that celebration aspect needed, because it's like, yeah, that's hard. Yeah, I get it. And then boom, here comes the next generation.
See, I really enjoyed the aspect of the first, you know, give or take, the first half of the movie was the essence of Black Panther, not who was going to be the next Black Panther. Mm-hmm. It was, we don't need the Black Panther. But then it turned out you needed that leadership, right? Of
that guardian
of, you know, the Black Panther, right? You needed that. Right. But the first half of the movie was trying to continue on without that even being a thing, and I really, really, really enjoyed that, because I felt like if that was the whole plot point, it could have lingered. It could have felt like it was lingering the whole time. Like, yeah, are you gonna be Black Panther? Are you Black Panther? Are you? It's just really smartly done. Right. For the back half, it's we know who Black Panther is. Right. All of a sudden, she has to go through this whole like ceremonial thing and this whole spiritual practice thing, and
didn't even believe in the spirit realm.
That I have a whole thing about this. I have a whole thing about this because she, and how I took it was, she is kind of an analogy for new generation Black Americans today, of, you know, if you are, you know, if you're a Black American, so much is about like traditions and spirituality and, you know, all of these kind of things. It's just, you know, literally from 1619 to now, it's just a part of who we are, right? And then you have this like new age of like, this new age of like internet users who are like, nah, that's not us. Right? We better than all this. We better than all that. And then you've seen a lot of discombobulation with that. And I liked how they showed that. Because in real life, it feels like to me that a lot of times in these situations you hear like the people in the past were dumb. And we have science, so we're not dumb.
Right.
And she was the scientist. So it was like people in the past were dumb. We've got science. I'm not about that.
Yeah.
Then she's put in a situation to where she feels the spirituality of the past, and it's not what she wants it to be.
That was
Killmonger.
So
fantastic.
So it's Killmonger. It's not what she wants it to be. So all of a sudden, it still doesn't exist.
Right.
And then eventually, she's like, "Okay, this is real. This is not a figment of our imaginations. This is a part of it.
Construct.
It's not a
Your
construct.
brain.
This is real stuff."
And I told my mama before she died that he wasn't really there.
Right.
Yes.
Mama, I'm sorry.
And all this was an analogy of real life today.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple. That was an analogy of the spirituality side, but also how I mentioned earlier of like the first half being like, we don't need Black Panther. Second half is like essentially we need Black Panther, give or take. In real life, the same analogy for Black Americans today of we don't need leaders, right? We don't need leaders. Y'all had Martin, y'all had Malcolm, y'all had all these people. We don't need leaders. Because I've had conversations with actual people today when like the George Floyd thing was happening and there was like a lot of dialogue. Right. I was having these conversations with real life people. We don't need leaders until you do, and when you don't, a lot of discombobulation happens. And that was showcased in the film itself with, them attacking Wakanda, had nobody.
Yep.
Right.
They had everybody, but they also had no organization and nobody to step up and take care of their leader. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden he was able to invoke havoc on the entire society.
Right.
And that I think that's an analogy about today, and I could be wrong, I could be reading too far into it, but I don't think it's like sugarcoated. I think it's very obvious. Because when I was watching it in the theaters, I was like, I see what you did there. You know what I mean? Like, I see what you did. It was very obvious to me.
Yeah.
Especially as a historian. That's one of the earlier I mentioned details, and that was one of the details I saw that you don't need to do that. You need to do that, but also what does that do? That adds in the artistry of directing, the artistry of the writing, and Ryan Coogler, right?
Yeah, the great Ryan Coogler, man.
This is
you don't miss
those aspects showcase to me why he's top tier.
Yeah, he don't miss, bro.
I'm like, what? I left the movie. You were there.
Yeah.
I was like. I was dumbfounded. I was like, because these details don't need to happen, yet they did. To have analogies that could be applicable to the outside world in the everyday life of the individual who's going to see it, that doesn't need to be a thing, right?
Right.
In many ways, the best Marvel, not even necessarily Marvel, comic book movies tend to do that, right? First Iron Man movie, what did they do? For one example, they talked about selling weapons off to other countries.
Yep.
Right? And like how America does that all the time.
Still does it.
That happened all the time, right? They talked about that. And that's not what the movie's about. But you don't got to dig too deep to find that. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I was in the 8th grade, 7th grade, whatever it was. And I was like, huh. We do that, don't we?
I mean, think about it. Civil War gave us that divide. Like, it's just like, they should be monitored. No, they should be free. Oh, is this political?
Yeah.
Yes.
Winter Soldier was about, like I said, about Big Brother and about, like I said, monitoring people. Just people in general, not even superheroes. It was about monitoring people in that one. And Captain America was like, this isn't freedom. This is control. It's not.
Every X-Men movie is this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Magneto, Xavier, this is all that is. So, like, I find it incredibly impressive when the adaptation of superhero movies from comics to movies can seamlessly transition that aspect to it as well. Because once again, if you know about when Stan Lee and them really dug into some of their superheroes in the comics, that they were really influenced by political figures at the time and situations and so on and so forth. But sometimes it can be, we're going to beat you over the head with said topic. We all see movies like that, right? And all of a sudden you leave, you're like, we get it. You know what I mean?
Is that what satire is?
I'm so tired. Like you leave, you're like kind of exhausted. You're like, we got it. Why are you doing this?
Right.
And from Iron Man till Wakanda Forever, Marvel itself, I will say, has done a really, really, really good job of doing that. DC not so much, because I think that's, I don't want to get into it, but
Phil, you're on a podcast, you can get into it.
I'm trying to say linear.
No, go multiversal with it.
I'm not trying to do the 360 wrong. No, but that's one of my biggest issue with DC movies is that they don't have that.
Right.
So when you inherently have these kind of like political ideologies and understandings like enveloped into your films, people, even if they don't realize it, can relate because they live life.
Right,
They've had history classes. They watch the news. They can understand these things even if they aren't trying to.
Right.
But the best DC movies, the best ones, have leaned to that as well. There's a reason why the Dark Knights are so good.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the Dark Knights are so good, and it's because they're able to lean into some of these constructs that allow superhero movies to bloom. You know what I mean? In the political sense, kind of current events, whatever terminology you want to use.
Right.
But then you have like Batman for Superman, which is just surface level.
Clickbait the movie.
Like it's all surface level, right? All of DC's misses are extremely surface level
Because they're rushing. Because think about it. Because what are your thoughts on Man of Steel, the first Superman movie with Zack Snyder?
Too dark.
Well,
Superman is not a dark character.
Right. No. So, but because hang on, I agree. That's a very dark movie. But and again, Zack Snyder has said that his goal, and he was, for better or worse, he was not allowed to finish his vision. Right.
And I told you this.
Right.
If that's your goal and that's your ambition, you better be 100% sure you have a multi-film deal.
Right.
You better.
But also things happen, like his daughter died, and then like issues like that.
Well, that's sad.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Very sad.
Because that's why the Justice League got switched over to Joss Whedon, because his daughter committed suicide, and then she. And so then he left the project. So yeah. But no, but then other things anyway. But he had said that his goal was to do a multi-film arc where you see Superman start out as Clark Kent and Man of Steel. That's why it's called Man of Steel. It's not called Superman because he's not that yet. And then you see him develop and turn into that Boy Scout and that character that we know from the comics, and that happier and just happy to help you get a cat from a tree. Like that was supposed to happen. But then WB said, nope, we're gonna stop you here. Like we're buffering, we're stopping here. Because in the Snyder Cut Justice League, you kind of saw inklings of that in the Snyder Cut. Like he started to be more jovial, be happy to like be alive. Like you saw that.
I'm in front. Too long. Didn't watch it.
I didn't see it either.
I was like, this is for DC.
It was a long movie, but it explained all the characters and stuff.
You say it'd be worth it?
Yeah. It's worth it.
I would say, yeah.
Boy, I better get
Take breaks.
I better get some nachos.
Take breaks from it.
Watch it, man.
But no,
It was in parts, yeah.
Yeah, it's in parts so you can stop.
Yeah, it's in parts.
I had no idea. I saw the time. I saw the timestamp. I said, no way.
Yeah. but DC, they rushed it because they're trying to play catch up to Marvel, and then they're trying to play. Well, they're being successful. Let's try and get there. And so they did Man of Steel, then rushed into Batman vs Superman, and then they kept going with Justice League. What they should have was it should have been Man of Steel. It should have been Man of Steel 2, whatever you want to call it, Man from Tomorrow, whatever you want to call it. But then you meet just Bruce Wayne. You don't meet. He's not Batman. You just meet they meet each other some way or another. They meet, right? Then you do a Wonder Woman movie by herself with inklings and Easter eggs. Then you do Aquaman movie. Then you do a Flash movie. Then you do maybe another Superman movie with him and Batman kind of being like, hey, now you kind of get the Batman side of like, oh, we're kind of beefing a little bit, but we don't fight yet. We're not fighting yet. We're just like, I don't agree with you.
Just give Bruce Wayne a flash drive. It's fine.
Right. That's the dumbest stuff. This Flash. Oh, we got Aquaman. Who's this guy? Who's this? We got Wonder Woman. We got, oh my God, everybody's right here. Hold on.
See, I don't. Okay. We know this. Why are they so stupid? I understand that they're trying to catch up to do it's like some business move, and you don't want Marvel to get ahead of you and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the best movies you have ever come out with are on your own time.
Right.
So why not just continue that thread instead of going, Marvel had Avengers. Sure, they took 5 to 6 years to get there. More than that, 10 years. They took 10 years to get there.
Yeah.
But we'll do it in 3.
Right.
Why? But like, that seemed, business is stupid. I wish I could, like, business is so dumb because when you business people ruin art.
Yes.
1,000%.
Right. 100%.
And like, this is the clear-cut example of that. Marvel, or no, DC doesn't feel rushed when it comes to their TV shows and animation.
The anime series?
That's why they're fantastic, right? Young Justice, all the way back to Smallville, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are on their own pace for movie because they don't feel threatened by Marvel yet. we see the writing the role,
they're coming.
right? But they should. But even with that being the case, and then come up with WandaVision, all kind of stuff.
Right.
Marvel come out with the kind of stuff. They shouldn't feel threatened because they had they had their stamp on the game for so long.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But will they? Like, is this like, is Complex gonna come out to where they're like inferior? You know what I mean? Like,
They're scared because they're with Disney now. They're just like, oh shoot, they have money. What do we do?
But you know, at the end of the day, DC has better TV shows, in my opinion. It always has in cartoons and whatever. That as long as that doesn't get antiquated and that doesn't get, you know, destroyed in this whole entire Marvel vs. DC thing, then I'll be good because I don't live or die by DC. I don't live or die by DC movies, right?
Right.
They're gonna be good. Most gonna be bad. You know, is what it is.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 1, fantastic. Wonder Woman 2, somebody just didn't work on the CGI very hard. You know what I mean? Like, it was tough.
And also that story is kind of weird. Like, the idea of like her being with this guy who doesn't know that he's, remember, so the Rock whatever gives her her wish of her ex being, or the guy she loves being alive, right?
I've never seen the new one.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay, well,
It's fine.
Don't worry about it. No, yeah, trust me. But so basically, she misses her love from the first movie,
Right.
and so she gets this rock that grants her wishes, but the wishes come with a price.
Right.
In this case, she loses her powers, but she gets her love, right? But the issue is he doesn't like. He's not created. Like, he takes, like, basically it'd be like someone takes your body over. Yeah. So basically, the whole movie she's with this guy who doesn't know that he's being with Wonder Woman.
Is that the same ship?
It's like the levels that are kind of like gross about that. It's kind of weird. But yeah,
You don't need to watch it.
yeah.
You don't need to watch that movie is that movie is annoying, right?
Yeah.
But like the first one, I really enjoyed.
Very good. Very good.
Black Adam, I personally really liked.
Never
I
coming
like
back.
that movie.
I like Black
liked
Adam
it.
a lot.
Never coming back.
I know.
Never coming back.
I know.
So
I'm
it's
upset
funny.
about it.
So no, I did really enjoy Black Adam. I really enjoyed it. My issue was it didn't feel like Black Adam because it felt like just The Rock being a superhero.
But The Rock don't ever play. He don't act. He just plays The Rock.
Right, no, so what I'm saying is, I wish it
played
was
the Tooth Fairy,
I wish it was
fine.
I wish it was a Black Adam
Played
movie.
The Rock,
and
played a Tooth
not-
Fairy. It didn't feel. It's like, this is a really big guy in a tutu. This is
Right.
ridiculous.
No, I wish it was a Black Adam movie, not The Rock as Black Adam movie. And also the issue I also had was that for 45% of the movie, 50% of the movie, he's just like because he's new to the world, so he's just like one-liner. One-liner. It's very it's very Terminator 2 with Arnold.
I think so. Yes, I agree.
I still love the movie.
No,
I still love it.
But I agree.
Yeah, that's my issue
Right?
with it.
There was a lot of fanfare. It has been
100%.
to get The Rock as this character,
Right. Also, he wanted to do it.
but people overestimated his acting abilities.
that too.
Right? Because like the movie we see him act the best in, like he is acting the best in my opinion, it might be like what, Gridiron Gang,
I was gonna say Jumanji.
Gridiron.
Jumanji, newer ones, right?
Right.
The
really.
Game Plan, right? Something like that. No, just me.
I'm just gonna nod and be like,
it's a great movie.
I'll give you Gridiron Gang. Yeah, that's a good because because that's him getting into like he's getting emotional. Like it's not just him being like.
I enjoy it, but you're a Fast and Furious guy. I enjoy these big actors who are like, look, Vin Diesel, the pacifier or the babysitter.
Right.
Oh my God.
The great movie. I enjoy these,
Yes, it
but like
was.
I'm like that's great acting chops because you could be in Triple X, you can be the Iron Giant, or you could be a babysitter.
So hang on. So okay, 'cause I think I know where you fall. I heard this on another podcast, and I want to hear your opinion. But this guy said, Denzel Washington, not that great of an actor, and he said it. I was like, so I did the same reaction. I was like, blasphemy. And so I was like, wait. And he was like, think about every movie he plays the same guy.
Damn it. Yeah, he's John Q and everything.
He's an angry black man in every movie. He's not like and so like the guy was like, for example, Leonardo DiCaprio plays a special needs kid. He plays like he plays different, he plays a racist. He plays different levels of character. Whereas Denzel's always the same black guy mad about something.
I guess Denzel has to play. Denzel has to play a cheeky boy.
Give me something.
Cause at the movie with Denzel Washington where he was in the train.
Fahrenheit 1-2-3.
I think so.
Fantastic movie.
Good movie.
So one movie that he's done.
I mean,
I want more.
you want more movies?
I'm not agreeing. Hang on. Well, all I'm saying is I just heard this, and so like I said, I can understand that side of it. I'm like, I get it. Like I said, he doesn't really venture outside of his shtick. He doesn't venture out of that often.
Right. He was in the new.
For example, that's why the guy who played Lincoln, he's known for being very method. But
the guy from Men in Black.
No,
it was him, right?
No,
I have no idea.
Like Abraham Lincoln?
I can't. Yes, it was a movie by Steven Spielberg. But he played Lincoln, but he's known for being a method actor, which means, like, as you know, he like lives like in that role for years, and then he becomes that person. So like, but he played Lincoln. He played a special needs person. He played
like mental health.
Well, I mean, but
he's known
it, isn't it?
So there's rumors about that. Some say he didn't. Like Jai White said he didn't. Like Jai White said no. Like everything you hear about him being like method and him being like crazy. Like was it Heath Ledger? They said that he said that was all like the media perpetuating it into something else that it wasn't.
Right.
But I don't know. Again, I wasn't there.
It's gonna be my head.
Jai White was there. You gotta believe
right.
it.
Well, again,
he seems like a noble guy.
But no. So yeah. Again, I'm not saying he's right. I was just saying interesting argument, interesting take. Because again, I was like, wait, no. I was like, first, that's not true. I was like, wait, okay, John Q. Okay, Training Day. Okay,
Equalizer.
Glory. Okay, I was like, Equalizer. I was like,
Well, I mean,
I also can make the strong argument that if you're a black man acting dramatically, people are inherently going to take that as angry.
have you seen Black Dynamite?
all right.
Yeah, no.
You haven't seen Black Dynamite?
Black Dynamite, the cartoon?
No, it started with a movie first, then they made a cartoon out of it.
I have seen the Adult Swim show.
Phillip.
What's his name?
You gotta
missing out?
No, you gotta watch Black Dynamite.
Wait.
And then think about that same mindset and watch Black Dynamite.
Okay. Noted. Okay. But yeah, I mean, The Rock when it comes to Black Adam.
What's his name?
Daniel
Day-Lewis. That's his name. Daniel Day-Lewis.
He was in Men in Black.
No, he was not.
He wasn't Will Smith's kind of counterpart?
No.
That's not him?
That's Tommy Lee Jones.
Welcome to this episode of Movie Trivia.
Listen.
That's a clip, so you know that's a clip.
Whoops. My bad. Shoot, my bad.
That one out.
No, the same guy. No, The Rock did do a lot of looking around and floating. But I think, I don't know the source material. Right. So, and to see this movie, I don't think you should have had to see the source material.
Right. No. All I was asking was, like, he can be that. Where am I at? Like that dumb child, almost like aesthetic. But then,
right.
But like, don't be half the movie like that. Like, be like 5-10 minutes, sure. Like you said earlier with the one line, do it for a little bit, but don't do the whole half the movie. Then like, because hang on, half the movie he's that. Then the back half he's like in prison for the other 25 minutes. So
I think they want him to be a brute though. Like They wanted him to be kind of a brute.
I get that
because the whole point of I maybe remember this wrong, but the whole point was his child.
Right. No, I get
is
that.
the non-brutish guy, and he is
right. But my point is, like you said earlier, with the problem with DC, they don't get deep. Like they could have explored that depth with another actor.
I'll say this: they tried to be deep with this movie.
Right. It was no.
I didn't like it
10 years in the making.
But it wasn't even him. It wasn't even him. All the deep aspects they tried to layer into the movie,
right?
They showcased through the little kid,
right?
And I don't. That kid was not a good actor.
Not a good actor at all. I was like, no, what we're doing.
He had no charisma. Like it looked, and I felt like he was just reading off a script, and I was just like, I don't like the kid.
Hang on.
I like kid actors.
I would never bash an actor. I will always say maybe maybe him and the director just didn't because sometimes I say the director doesn't lead well. It doesn't like coach them the right way, especially kids, because kids like have to be coached. Like if they're not a Leo at that age, or if they're not like these great actors, Elijah Wood, if they're not like these Macaulay Culkin, like who can just have that charisma, you have to coach them in the right way. And so sometimes the director can't do that. Sometimes
I just don't like. This is a personal opinion, truly. Subjective. I don't like kids in movies who know too much, who think they know too much.
Oh, got you.
So you know what I mean? Like know-it-alls in comparison to the adults.
Okay.
I just never been a fan of that, trope. And that's what he was.
Got you. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was gonna say it took 10 years to make Black Adam.
Like I think 11, but yeah.
10 years?
Yes.
Wow.
To make one movie?
Well, because it was in it was in green light hell. So like it got green light 10 years ago, and then it kind of just stayed in this like tumble of like getting made, not getting made, getting made, not getting made, like just
Was it waiting for like technology to get better?
It was just I can't give you the answers. I just know it was just stuck in limbo of like, because like as you know, like so WB hires new CEOs, they fire CEOs. Like so, for example, you come in, you're like, hey, The Rock, we're doing Black Adam next year. You get fired. He comes in, he's like, fuck, nope, we're not doing that. Scrap that. We're gonna do Man of Steel. Then he gets fired. Then he comes in, he's like, The Rock, bring him back. We're gonna do this. And then
movie politics.
This whole thing, it's the whole thing of this. And then
but who's doing the firing?
The company, the board of trustees, if the money's not making, if the studio's not making money, or if that's not.
So the old hats who don't know nothing about like what the generation
back to
likes.
his point of businesses ruin art, ruin movies, and ruin film because
this is why we don't have a Static Shock movie yet.
That's in the works.
That's in the works.
Yeah. Well, it was back to the thing. It was in the works, but then it might got canceled because of the whole like the WB shakeup again. So it might got canceled. It was in the works because Michael B. Jordan was doing that. He was doing a Black Superman, based on the comics, not changing Kal to black, which you can do, by the way, because he's an alien. Just want to say that. But
wait, what? You can't do what?
So people get upset when the idea of casting a black man as Kal-El, Superman.
All right,
okay, so hold on, let's get into it.
Okay.
You can. Because again, his race has nothing to do with his story.
Does it not though?
No.
Oh no! Hold on.
He's an alien.
Yeah, but like, if you a white dude and a black dude just jumping out of the air in Midwest in the 50s, wherever he's from, that's gonna change some things.
No, then you have Hancock.
That's gonna change some things.
You have Hancock.
Will Smith.
That was like 2008. That was 2008.
Hang on. My argument is always that is the character's race a part of his story? If it's binded to his story, then yes, I get it. Do not change it. But if he's an alien, first of all, we don't know what aliens look like anyway. But okay, he's an alien from another planet. He can be any. He can be Asian. He can be Indian. He can be any color.
Okay. Well, Superman came out when? Like how?
That's the whole thing.
Okay. Now think about this. Back to your point. Black man jumping out of the sky, right? Man, you make a black Superman back then, white people would have been so scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Black Superman gonna get you into sleep.
The boogeyman.
The only one I ever agreed with on that notion that you can't like race swap was James Bond.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that.
That's it. Because it was like, because James Bond is always like in these like very Caucasian countries.
Man's British.
Yeah, and so he was like, the scenes where James Bond's running through, he's running through the parking lot, he's running through a lot, he comes and hides in a restaurant. The guy's coming, where's he at? There he is. Because he's black and everything.
Walks up to the bar. Hey, my name's Bond. James Bond. Yeah, I know.
I know. It's that's funny because like if James Bond's black and a man, he's like him, this womanizer, which is, if you look at the old films, it's not womanizing. It's just forceful nonsense. I'm like, well, this is race riots. Like, what's going on? What is this nonsense? But they are changing. I saw the movie The Woman King, and one of the actresses, and she played the new Miss Honey Matilda. She's going to the new Matilda in Netflix. She's going to be the new James Bond. Right? I heard this. Black woman on James Bond, right?
Come talk to me, please.
Why? This isn't a thing?
No.
Was that a lie?
Well, it's not true. Because literally, again, remember, I work for a media outlet, okay? So
I had to gym the camera.
Hang on, I'm going to tell
you. because somebody, a reliable source told me this.
So because literally this past week, or I think it was last week, Aaron Taylor Johnson had a meeting with like the producers.
Who was that?
He played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
Oh, okay.
But he's British, I believe. But he had a meeting with like the producers for that role of James Bond.
Really?
Yeah. So,
I'm all about this.
Now,
not facts.
What you might have heard, the person who told you that that's your source might have got maybe you got the information on Game of Telephone. Maybe it was that she'll be in the next 007. Because that could be true, but he's gonna be the next James Bond.
Shoot, good thing we got you here. I'm sure I've been just lying.
No,
had a whole talking point just based off a lie.
But again, like I said, the Aaron Taylor Johnson article that is let's say it's just speculation right now. It's not like it's not factual either. It's just saying he had a meeting. I'm not saying he's going to be it. But.
So what you're saying is Ariel can't be black. Scientifically,
there was a black mermaid in the first cartoon.
Was there?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
They were friends. No, I'm just saying that the people who get mad about that because there was a black mermaid in that cartoon.
Oh,
she was one of the friends.
Oh shoot, yeah, that's true.
Go look it up. I'll put it up. It
wasn't Ariel.
right. Because I always laugh because people are like, "Well, what about the gingers? You know, you're taking away their representation." I'm like, there are black gingers. We know one.
Hold on.
Oh shoot,
you have not heard that in real life.
Have heard what?
Ginger representation.
I have heard it on. I've heard it literally on YouTube channels. I've heard it on podcasts. Yes, people have said that.
Hurts. I don't like that.
Well,
representation of your skin, of your hair color.
Hang on, time out. She's still ginger.
That's true.
She's red hair. She's just black, but she's still a ginger.
Can sing too.
Yeah,
right. She can say.
Everybody.
Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
But that's I'm like, I can understand the whole notion of. You know, what if Disney's pushing a narrative? What if there's all this? I'm like, okay, cool, but guess what? At the end of the day, when I have kids and my little daughter wants to see Little Mermaid, she's like, hey, it's me. Like, I don't care about that. At that time, I don't care about their agenda.
It's stupid though because it's just social media hate. Because when Brandy was Cinderella, there was no kind of. Nothing. I don't remember at least. There was no kind of like thought process and dialogue behind that.
When did that come out?
99.
So there was no social media.
Yeah. So there was no kind of dialogue behind that.
I guarantee you there. Hang on, because this is always the joke. They say they're like, yeah, back then there was no issues because you had to write down, send a letter, or write a letter and send it, email it, and send it to the studio.
Right.
Whereas now you can hop on Twitter and then it's a cesspool of people who think like you. So then it just grows and festers.
I don't know if Twitter's gonna be like that much longer. That thing's going to the wolves.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter every morning when I wake up. I'm sick.
Wow.
I'm a monster.
That explains how you got pink eye.
Help me.
That's how you got pink eye. Twitter.
From Twitter. It's true. Rather Twitter than anything else. There you go.
Now we're eating booty. You pick.
Twitter. Not Reddit. Twitter. It's no, but these kind of discussions happen all the time. But like, sure. Sometimes there is a forced racial dynamic with film,
right?
But less times than not, it don't matter.
Right.
For me, sometimes I just like it when I'm just like looking at like a movie and there's a group of friends hanging out and like it's one of every color. And I'm just like, that's not real.
Right.
And it's like in a small town. I'm like,
yeah,
that's not how this works.
Bro, so not spin-off, but the sequel to How Much Your Mother, How Much Your Father, right?
Yeah.
It's literally that thing. There's literally a person of every, like, there's a person of every color.
But that's fine with me because they're in New York City, though. So, like, if if you're in New York City, there's more times than not that's going to be the case than not.
I get that, but hang on. But every single, literally, it's white, like, there's no black person. There's white, Indian, Asian, And
which is Indian.
what'd you say?
Indian, which is
well
Indian.
done. The Indian one, the Indian. Is that right?
Yeah.
From India.
Yeah.
yeah. And then Asian. But like, there's no. Also, there's no African American in that group. But
Wow.
Just saying.
Are you saying Hillary Duff doesn't have black friends?
I guess not. In that
Wait,
case.
they have Native American there? Oh yeah. Oh, of course they don't. My goodness.
Wait,
what
but
are
this
you
is taking
doing?
place in New York?
Yes, it's in New York.
No, but
Someone lives under a rock.
I mean, but like, shows have this issue for a long time. I mean, the first time I heard anybody really
On
talking about
Friends.
it was Girls.
He had one.
Girls with Lena Dunham on HBO, and she was like, so there was two thought processes. It's an HBO show, Girls, fantastic, but like, her initial group has no black people in it,
Okay.
right?
Right.
At all. It's just all white,
Right.
and people were like, "What? This is New York. That can't be the case. What are you doing?" But then some people are like, also, it's like she wrote about who she grew up around, so like.
Right.
If it's all white, it's like her
Right.
perspective of life. You know what I mean? And so it's just, but like superhero movies where you have somebody creating an atmosphere, someone creating an environment, someone creating the characters is different than if I made a movie about Kansas City,
Right.
right? Or I made a movie about Houston.
Right.
Like, we understand the percentages of people who live in these areas,
Right.
whatever, so on and so forth. We don't know Metropolis.
right. We don't know Gotham. We don't
hang
know.
on. Did
Yeah,
you
right.
know that Metropolis is a hop, skip, and a jump away from Gotham?
No, they're that close.
Batman vs Superman.
They are drastically different cities.
Right.
Batman, I need to step it up.
Yeah.
It's, move from Gotham. Like, there has the newest Batman movie.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all gotta go. Like, if my mayor getting shot and the whole city flooded, I'm leaving.
moving.
An active cult going around.
Yes, I mean, I was just watching Last of Us, right? I just watched it. I just watched that. The first
That's a
episode.
good
And
game.
I never played the game, whatever, so
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
Right.
But I'm just engaging with the show as it comes out.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, they get into the car and they're leaving the town.
Mm.
And you see like the road just full of cars.
Mhm.
I go, thank you. In all these shows, you never see the cars just packed. The roads are always gonna be destroyed.
Right.
Because people are always on them, getting out the way, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, about time.
Right.
About time you aren't just on the road flying, Walking Dead. There's like barely any traffic.
Wait a
You're just
minute.
going.
Walking Dead.
Right.
Who's cutting the grass?
Right.
Yes. Yes.
In the grass.
Right. It's like very specific. And I'm just like, I like that kind of stuff.
Right.
We're just like, you are, the diligence of the detail. Right. And just understanding the demographic and understanding the realistic aspects of the environment of film, because the environment is also a character in film.
Right.
And that for me separates the amateur from the professionals, or
Right.
people who understand that aspect.
Right.
And
Who dress the environment? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, because set design's there for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Tell a story in a set. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I just want to give a shout to Last of Us. That first episode was crazy. That was
Mike, as the game guy on the podcast, you want to go in on The Last of Us? What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, as you said with that part with the them driving, and they're trying to get out of the town, and of course they have the cars that's blocking them from going. Then they see, I think you call them clickers or
we don't know yet, but I
runners.
watch too many reaction videos. They told me.
Oh, God.
And just what happened to his daughter.
Don't spoil it now.
Yeah, hang on.
I didn't say go into spoilers now.
Wait, you haven't seen it?
No.
I want to.
You got to.
I know. I'm
Not
going to.
want to.
I'm going to.
Thank you.
I'm going to.
Because you got to.
I know.
Hey,
Because
remember how
I
you're talking
need to
about-
have conversation with this
you
about.
Hey, hang on.
Oh,
You remember how you're talking about having Disney Plus?
Right.
Yeah, HBO Max. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Touche. Touche. My bad. I understand that completely.
But as someone who played the game, is it very accurate? Because I've seen things about it that
Yes,
says it's very
this
accurate.
first episode is just like the game, except for the beginning of the show with the the news.
Yeah,
That wasn't in the
see,
game.
I heard it, and correct me if I'm wrong, because my sources are wrong sometimes. I I try to go past it. But I heard that it's accurate, but as you can do in TV shows, it expands on stuff that was already established in the show or in the video game.
Mm-hmm.
So like it might be in the video game, but like they give it more time to breathe in the show.
Right.
Is that true? Okay, because it's
It's a good. It's accurate.
Even though Ellie doesn't look like Ellie.
There it is.
Yeah, she does not look like the character in the game.
So I have a question for you, Mike. Okay.
Now Joel looks like.
I believe it. Joel, yeah. I have a question for you. Okay. You're the director of this film. Or this show, sorry. Right? Or producer, what's the producer? And so, you know, you have actresses come in and play Ellie, right? And so you have a picture of Ellie from the game on the wall. And so you have two girls come in. One girl looks just like her, spitting image, right? Just like her. Can't act a
I was
lick.
about to say, can't act a damn.
But you have this next girl come in who hits the marks you want to hit, who, you know, gets the points across that you want, and gets, you know, is subtle, but also, you know, just deep with depth. But again, doesn't look anything like her, but can pull the character out from your words. Who you picking?
I'm guessing I'll pick the one that can act.
Right.
Now,
So,
F that. I pick the one that looks like him and then do a voice dubbing. That's it. That's a wrap.
So it's funny because voice dubbing, sure, but then again, but
mannerisms and all that kind of stuff.
right,
too.
it's their face, it's their eyes. If they're not hitting those moments or hitting those things that you know from the game, also,
Mhm.
but like, if they can't bring that character to life outside the voice, also, then that's going to hinder your progress of your overall product. So that's why I always kind of push back on. Well, they don't you know, resemble the character at all. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but also one, what people actually look like those characters. I mean,
Right.
You can get very close, like Joel, right? Joel's very close, very accurate, but it's also hard to try and find someone who can also act very well, who can also, you know, because like HBO is known for having very good shows, like they're known as top tier, right?
Top
so
tier.
again, if you could cast to please the gaming fans, but then
There's gonna be more people watching the TV show than the games.
right. So that's the issue of like, what do we cast it because you're 100% right. When she was cast, people are like, she looks nothing like her, because there is one girl who actually resembles her a lot, and she even said she auditioned for it. So that just meant in the casting call, in that audition, she just didn't reach that depth or whatever that director wanted. She just didn't have it, which not bad to her, but just the other girl did better.
Sometimes it happens like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to go for the people who are going to watch this, because what is it? The second biggest debut in HBO history.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Dang.
you have to cater to the individuals that are going to watch it, because more people watch TV than play video games. I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah.
right? This is
Mm.
Right.
know,
I mean, that's facts.
that
That's
will
factual.
always be the case.
Right.
And understanding and acknowledging that as the business side of it
Right.
is how you have to lean.
Right.
Because you want to. The girl's a good actor. I remember seeing her. Who's
Game of
playing?
Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Big.
She's good.
Big Game of Thrones guy.
And she-
I was wondering where she was since then.
Oh, they.
I was wondering where they were since then. Okay.
They're
And-
non-binary. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I just remembered it. So they're non-binary.
So I was trying to figure out, but like, they did good,
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
real good, and
Yeah.
like, they've always done great in
Yeah.
everything they've ever done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's
Yeah.
really interesting to
Yeah.
see.
So yeah. So no, but trust me, Mike, I understand your perspective of it, because you're like, they don't look nothing like, because it'd be like in the comics if they casted someone who, like, hang on, that's why when the first X-Men came out and they cast Hugh Jackman, the fans lost it, because they're like, he's too tall, like, because Wolverine is known for being like a short,
I forgot
stocky,
about that.
like he's like 5'5", like he's but
That don't look good
that's why he's so
on TV. You on TV,
yeah,
you can't have him looking smaller than Cyclops.
right, but because like
Heroes are 6 feet and above. Period.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but now, well, now you can't see anybody other than Hugh Jackman playing it.
Yeah.
Not at
But
all.
fans, but it's funny because fans still want that like
They do?
yeah. So they're like on the, and honestly, I think they should, because that would differentiate him more from Hugh. Because if you cast another 6'2" guy ripped,
Right.
it's gonna be hard to differentiate that, right?
Right.
But if you kind of go in the opposite direction and say, hey, let's do a 5'6" guy who's stocky, who's and also I think that plays to his character because that's why he's so angry, because he has that little man complex of like, so it adds to that character, to his development of that. So, but yeah, so I completely understand where you're coming from though, of like they don't resemble that character.
Long story short, that is Mike's Black Superman.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's exactly what that is.
Oh man, but no, I think that's a good place to end on. Phillip, is there anything you want to plug?
Plug?
Yeah, man.
It's always something to plug.
You doing big things out here?
I try.
Next Scorsese.
First Phillip.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Brother Abe Films. That is BROTHAABE.
Don't worry,
Films.
it'll be put below you.
Straight like a spelling bee.
Shoot, hey, listen, I failed. Yeah, Brother Abe Films on Instagram. Then you can go to brotherabe.com to see some short film scripts and things like that, and have an understanding of my writing style, so on and so forth. And then we have a short film possibly coming out in the next month and a half. But we definitely have a feature-length film coming out, directed and co-written by me, early May of 2023, called Midwest Skid Mark. If you go to my Instagram page, Brother Abe, if you go to Phillip Dixon Facebook page, there are GoFundMes out there to help support. We are, this is a project, the feature-length film, that is really big. We have a lot of people from Wyandotte County and a lot of people from the Kansas City area in general who are involved in the film. And it's going to be the funniest film to come out of Kansas City ever. And we are all very confident in that. So please support it. When it comes in theater, support it as well. Yeah, you heard it here first. So
Doing big things, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like you when I grew up.
I'm trying to get like you.
Okay.
But yeah, that's awesome though. Mike, where can they find you?
Real Sugar Cookies on Instagram and Real Sugar Cookies.
It gets them every
Wait,
time.
sorry. Say it every time. My bad.
Real Sugar Cookies.
That's what I thought you said. Okay.
Yeah, I use that Real Sugar Cookies because, when I play video games, I try not to curse.
Right.
And, it just feels right when I say it.
Yeah, sugar cookies.
It's the funniest thing too.
Sugar cookies.
Sugar cookies.
Sugar cookies. I need to hear that.
Why sugar cookies
it's
and
the
no other
funniest
cookies? Why sugar cookies and no other cookies?
Because I guess it's close to shit.
Sugar honey iced tea.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
instead of being like shit, he's like sugar cookies.
Sugar cookies. I had some the other day.
I have some other stuff that,
And
I use too for other cuss words, but,
It brings a smile to your face too. He might be mad,
Falafel?
but now
like fudge.
Oh, that fudge.
Nice little euphemism. Okay. Fudge. What's a good one? What's a classic?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, so that's why I came up with that.
It's
Cool.
smooth. It's smooth. It's smooth. Ryan, where can they find you?
you can find me on Instagram, YouTube also, The Lone Rocketeer. I have my own record label, I Dream Beats. So if you need something done, I can help you with audio engineering. But other than that, you can just hit me up anywhere. Honestly, I'm on every social media.
Anywhere and everywhere. And you can find me at Nerdy Nako. Like I said, Phil, we're gonna have you back on here soon. Again,
I'm ready to come and be on here whenever.
And so this has been episode 2 of the iNword podcast. If you're just now finding us, we appreciate you. If you're a return viewer, thank you for coming back. And if you made it this far, please subscribe, like the video. It helps us out. All right. And we'll see you.
We need it. We need the support, please.
We'll see you next
Yes,
time.
we do.
Peace. Checkmate.